Hi everyone, welcome to GSM University. GSM Cares is a training that's been recently added to our new coworker orientation. So today we want to roll this out to everybody, do a little catch up and get everybody up to speed on exactly what this is. So what is CARES? CARES is an acronym and it stands for compassion, awareness, respect, empathy, and strengthen. So you might look at this and think, well, the first four fit together. I kind of get that, but what about strength and how does that fit? Well, if we implement these actions daily in our interactions with each other, we're going to strengthen our coworkers, our relationships, and our company. Our objectives today are to show how coworkers can help create a cooperative and productive work environment by respecting one another's backgrounds. It's going to help us understand the importance of how our differences can be a good thing and how we can support it for everyone's benefit. By the end of the session, you'll be able to identify ways in which we are diverse, understand both the challenges and the opportunities of having a diverse workforce, help avoid discrimination in the workplace, follow our organization policy regarding workplace diversity and discrimination. So, what are some ways in which we are diverse? We're different by physical appearance, height, weight, and hair color. That's a pretty obvious one to most people. By age, by education. Educational differences can affect the way different people approach the same job, and I have an example of that I'll use in an upcoming slide. By race, we need to keep in mind, though, that members of the same race can and are very different from one another. By gender, gender differences are particularly noticeable in jobs that traditionally have been all male or female. I'll use our residential service division as an example. We currently have 3 women in the role of service technician in that division. By cultural background, this may reflect race or country of origin, but it also may reflect how we celebrate different holidays or what language is spoken in the home. So we're also different by something known as cognition or diversity of thought. So this includes our thought and problem solving processes. So look at this image here. We have 7 people standing around what appears to be the number 8 lying on the floor. You have 2 people who think it is a number 8. One of them is spelling it out in his head. You got one who's not thinking anything. You've got several other opinions, and then you have a hungry guy on the end who thinks it's a pretzel. So keep that in mind when you approach a task or you look at a certain problem and you're working with somebody else. Everybody's going to have a different thought process and a different way of approaching a certain task. We're different by physical abilities. These take into account special talents and special needs, including physical disabilities. So now let's consider your own history and how you may have been influenced to think about people of different backgrounds. Here are some important influences for most of us. Our parents, probably the number one influence for most people. Here's a few examples of 2 father figures, TV and movie father figures who were probably a negative influence, right? Versus someone like Andy Griffith, who we all know is going to be a positive influence. Our teachers and coaches, people who may have been mentors in our early life. If you've ever seen Remember the Titans, Coach Boone, played by Denzel Washington, is an excellent example of a great mentor and coach. He took a group of young men from diverse backgrounds and brought them together as a team who respected one another. Our peers, our circle of friends, people that we grew up with, how did they affect your thoughts on people of different backgrounds? The news and entertainment media, including radio, TV, movies, and advertisement, all of these can influence what we think about other people. And this is probably, in my opinion, the number one negative influence on people in today's day and age. There's something known as silent diversity. In addition to diversity that can be obvious among people, there's also diversities among people that may not be so obvious. These include religion, some disabilities or medical conditions, beliefs and values, marital status, and parental status. So it's important that we be aware of these differences, even though they may not come through in the day-to-day workplace. So let's talk about some of the challenges of being part of a diverse workforce and how we can prepare for it. You know, differences among people are normal. It's okay. Keep in mind that being different doesn't mean better or worse. It just means different. Where I perceive you as maybe being different, you're probably going to perceive me as being different. We have to keep that in mind. I put this picture of these 8 children up here because I started thinking about this. You put these kids let's say in a classroom by themselves. What's going to happen in a few minutes? They're going to start interacting with each other. Regardless, they're going to look past the obvious physical differences if they even see or notice that. They're unbiased. Before they're tainted by the world, they're just going to start interacting and making friends. We can learn a lot from them. Coordinating different styles of working can be challenging because not everybody approaches a task in exactly the same way. Let's use the example of a service technician. You have a 50-year-old technician, no formal training, began at 14 years old, working for his uncle's HVAC business. He's a solid technician. He's been in the field a long time, and he can do just about everything that needs to be done. Technician B, he's 25 years old, went to tech school, has 4 years of field experience. Another solid technician. Can they learn from one another? Of course they can. The old school guy can probably learn technology from the younger guy, and the younger guy can learn some tried and true service techniques from the old guy. Learning to communicate across cultural and language differences can also be a real challenge. Clear and open communication is key to working successfully in any group. Consider our use of idioms and how that can be confusing to a non-native. An idiom is a commonly used expression whose meaning does not relate to the literal meaning of the words. Some examples: shoot the breeze, a ballpark figure, behind the 8 ball, nosebleed section, raining cats and dogs. Somebody from another country whose second language is English might not be familiar with these terms. And if you use them around them before they become familiar with them, it's going to be confusing. Will they say anything to you? Will they say, hey, what do you mean by that? They may not. And if they don't, you may have an opinion of them that's something less than what it is. You may make an assumption that they're not smart because they don't understand what you're saying. We have to stop and think about that when we're dealing with somebody whose second language, whose primary language is not English. Developing flexibility is another important ingredient to dealing with diversity. It's important not only to listen to new ideas, but also to implement different approaches if they improve our work. Finally, we should be willing to adapt to change. This includes both changes in the workforce itself and changes in the way we approach our daily tasks. Now, along with the challenges that we're faced with, there's plenty of positive opportunities as well, and it's important that we recognize them. A diverse workplace can help attract and retain high-quality people from a variety of backgrounds. Morale increases when all employees feel they are welcome and appreciated, regardless of their background. Productivity improves as morale increases. Decision-making can improve when there's a diversity of approaches present in the workplace. And finally, our organization's profile and reputation in the marketplace can improve when the workplace becomes known for treating all coworkers fairly. All right, it's time for a knowledge check. Parents, teachers, and peers don't have any effect on your personal diversity history. True or false? That's false. Morale increases when everyone feels welcome and appreciated. I think everybody believes that's true. Clear and open communication is key to working effectively with a diverse group. Also true. At this point, be sure you understand what workplace diversity is and the challenges and opportunities that go along with having a diverse workforce. Now we'll turn to the issue of discrimination in the workplace. First and foremost, it is illegal to discriminate against someone in any aspect of employment, including recruitment, hiring, and firing, how much someone is paid, including benefits, promotions, transfers, and layoffs, opportunities for training or apprenticeships, retirement plans, and disability leave policies. Another form of discrimination is harassment of a person or group of persons because of their differences. Harassments include slurs or jokes or other offensive comments or actions based on someone's race, national origin, religion, gender, or age. Segregating a person or group of people from others on the basis of these characteristics. Stereotyping or making judgments about the ability of a person based on these characteristics. Making unwanted or unwelcome sexual advances of any kind or sexually offensive remarks or actions directed at another person. Derogatory comments about another person's cultural or religious practices. There are a number of legal protections from discrimination and harassment that help support a diverse workplace. These laws include Title VII of the Civil Rights Act generally prohibits employers from discriminating on the basis of race, color, national origin, or sex, which includes pregnancy, sex stereotyping, and sexual orientation. The Age Discrimination in Employment Act, or ADEA of 1967, generally prohibits employers with 20 or more employees from discrimination in employment based on age, unless age is a bona fide occupational qualification. The Americans with Disability Act, or ADA, prohibits discrimination on the basis of physical disability and requires employers to make reasonable accommodations to disabled persons who are otherwise qualified. The Rehabilitation Act of 1973 prohibits the federal government from discriminating against qualified disabled persons. And the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act prohibits employers with 15 or more employees from discriminating against applicants or employees on the basis of genetic information, including family medical history. Employers cannot request, obtain, or use genetic information to make employment decisions. Finally, the Equal Pay Act prohibits employers from having different pay practices on the basis of gender. At GSM Services, we recognize the many differences among our workplace community. We offer training to recognize and understand the benefits of these differences in our workplace. We'll openly and honestly deal with any diversity-related problems that may arise. We'll provide a uniform, consistent set of expectations for everyone in the workplace when it comes to supporting diversity and eliminating unacceptable behavior. Additionally, we promote an open-door policy on complaints related to discrimination and harassment. We protect the rights of employees to make legitimate complaints about discrimination or harassment. Employees who make such complaints will be treated respectfully and confidentially. We promote both compliance with applicable laws and prevention of problems related to diversity. In other words, we want to be proactive in preventing problems rather than simply reacting to problems that have already occurred. We strive for a respectful and dignified work environment that treats everyone equally. All right, time for another knowledge check. Take a look at the following actions. Do you think these are illegal? Not hiring an applicant for a position just because of that person's religion. Is this legal? No, it's not. Repeatedly telling ethnic jokes in the workplace, even though the jokes offend certain people. Is this legal? No. Failing to promote an employee because that person is over the age of 50. Is that legal? No, it's not. Paying a woman more money to do the same job as a man. Is this legal? No. Firing an employee because that person needs special accommodations, such as a ramp, to do the job. Is this legal? No, it's not. At this point, be sure you understand the information about discrimination, harassment, and our organization's general policy on diversity. All right, so let's review some common misperceptions about diversity. One misperception is that there's only one person who is best qualified for a particular job. In fact, different people have different combinations of skills and qualities that may be right for a job in different ways. Another common misperception is that members of a minority group always get along better with people from the same group, rather than with other groups. That's not always the case. There is always diversity within any particular group, regardless of having certain characteristics in common. A third misperception is that diversity programs are established to benefit only members of minority groups. The fact is, diversity programs are intended to make sure that everyone in the workplace is treated equally and fairly. You may be able to think of other misperceptions about diversity in people who are different from you because of their backgrounds or characteristics. Okay, so here are some specific things that you can do to help prevent problems in the workplace. Names. Learn the names of the people you work with and use them frequently. This shows that you recognize and respect them as individuals. Names are important. If you have someone working with you who has a name that's different than what you're used to, or a name that's difficult for you to pronounce, don't just coin a nickname for that person and assume that it's okay with them. They may not object, they may respond to it, but it doesn't mean that they're okay. Instead, if you're having difficulty pronouncing their name, tell them, hey, help me pronounce your name, or I'm having difficulty pronouncing your name. Ask them, is there a nickname that they prefer, okay? And allow them to allow you to use it. Don't make one up for them. Show interest in the lives of your coworkers beyond the workplace. Ask members of other groups about their cultures and traditions. Never assume stereotypes about people based on their backgrounds. Encourage teamwork among all coworkers. Always avoid making personal comments that are derogatory or offensive. With regards to controversial topics, approach them in a general way. If you find yourself discussing controversial issues, avoid expressing opinions about particular individuals. Always treat everyone equally and avoid forming groups based on gender. Avoid making sexist comments. Don't make guesses about a person's race or background based on personal appearance. In fact, try to avoid categorizing people at all. Also, learn and use acceptable terms when discussing people who are different. Use the variety of experiences among your coworkers to have beneficial discussions about ways to approach things differently. Always show respect for differences in cultures and traditions of others. Look at the abilities of your coworkers, not their disabilities. Don't make assumptions about persons with disabilities. Instead, look at what they can do, not what they may not be able to do. Don't go along with others who might make insensitive comments or offensive jokes about other groups. As leaders, we're called to a higher standard. If you are a witness to this, be the one who intervenes and puts a stop to it. Finally, maintain an attitude of including others rather than finding reasons to exclude them. So here are some key points to remember about diversity that have been discussed in this session. Please try to put them into practice in the workplace. Diversity respects the differences among other people. Diversity encourages new ideas and perspectives on doing your work. Diversity promotes fairness, and fairness allows everyone to contribute and share in success. And finally, diversity can help create a stronger, more unified, and more successful organization that will benefit everyone. Please be sure to go back and review any information that's not completely clear. If you still have questions, ask your supervisor or trainer. Final quiz. The U.S. workforce is becoming less diverse. That is false. People's opinions of those who are different are influenced by parents, teachers, peers, and the media. That's true. Challenges of workplace diversity include getting used to differences, coordinating work styles, learning to communicate, or all of these. It is all of these. Which of the following is not an opportunity provided by diversity? Attracting and retaining quality employees, increasing employee morale, improving decision making with a variety of viewpoints, or improving safety performance. Improving safety performance has nothing to do with diversity. Diversity is a way to encourage new ideas and perspectives. That is true. Which of the following would not be considered illegal harassment? Slurs or jokes on nationality, segregation from others, asking a coworker out on a date, or unwelcome sexual advances. Asking a coworker out on a date is not illegal. We are diverse in many ways, including race, gender, age, education, cultural background, and physical abilities. That is true. It's a matter of personal choice whether or not you cooperate with our diversity program. That is false. All GSM coworkers are expected to cooperate with this program. Diversity programs benefit only minors. That is false. It benefits everyone. And there is little you can do to promote diversity. That is false. We can all do our part. So in conclusion, let's review one last time what GSM Cares stands for. CARES is compassion, awareness, respect, empathy, and strengthen. The bottom line is it's about treating people properly. I want to leave you with a quote by Stephen R. Covey. Strength lies in differences, not in similarities. I hope this training was helpful. Please take this information with you daily into the workplace. Let's continue to make GSM a great place to work. Thanks for all that you do, and have a great day.